everyone. Are we ready to have some fun? This is one of the fun parts of the day. So I am going to introduce you to a special kind of pet, a robot pet called Astro. Astro, can you come up to the stage? Pet of sorts. Astro, stop. Can you face the audience? Astro, turn and say hi to the audience. Hi, everyone. Astro also has a family, so we're going to invite Astro's family onto the stage, none other than Swedish tech icon Rikard. Welcome, Rikard.
Great to be here.
Now, we'll sit down in a second before we sit down for the real conversation. A lot of us have images in our head of killer robots.
Yeah.
We have an idea of fluffy dogs as humanity's best friend. Astro doesn't really seem like either of those things. So what is Astro, and what can Astro do?
So Astro is a robot dog, as you all can see. And he has artificial intelligence. He will know his surroundings. He will avoid obstacles, but also has cameras and can be remote operated by anyone, either through a control or through a VR headset. But also has autonomous features. So you can imagine that it can do security duty. It can go into places where humans cannot. And essentially, it's a platform for AI to take shape and manifest in the real world.
And Astro actually has not human family as well. So Jetson, which is an autonomous flying car, can take Astro, or will be able to take Astro, and drop Astro into remote or dangerous places that humans can't get to.
Yeah, so Jetson is essentially a flying drone. It's like a flying car. And one of our advisors is a chief strategy officer from Boston Dynamics. So this is originally from Boston Dynamics. But we had an agent called Sway who actually custom made it so it looks in the same design as Jetson. And we're still in the early stage of exploring what this could be. But you can imagine pre-takeoff and landing security, inspection, and eventually you don't have to fly people. You could fly robots. So we're in the beginning of exploring what could be made with Astro.
If I can get your indulgence before we sit down for one last thing. We've met Astro, you know Astro really well. I want to see if a member of the audience can shout a command and get Astro to do something. Is there anyone that wants to shout out a command? Can you lie down? Louder? Oh, lie down, Astro. Lie down, Astro.
All right. Thank you.
There we go.
Maybe we should sit down as well.
Yeah, now let's sit down. Okay. How did you come up with the idea for Astro, and where does the AI come in? You mentioned some of the image recognition side of things.
Yeah, so ever since I was a kid, and also the founders, Thomas Patan and Peter Tenström of Jetson, are big fans of Boston Dynamics, and we have since the beginning. So that's why we invited Mark on the advisory board. But actually, we think that we have our headquarters in the middle of Tuscany in Italy, very remote, and of course, everyone wants to steal, a flying car. So we were thinking security. Also, you need to sort of clear the perimeter before you take off. So we had all these ideas. But then, of course, we always had the idea that maybe you don't fly people, you fly robots. You can imagine having a Jetson flying and deploying Astro in some remote location doing its duty.
Yep. Let's go through some of the use cases.
Sure.
I think oil and gas is one of them. What's that about? Is that rigs that are really hard to get to, or is it something else?
Yeah, I think, typically robots, they should do things that humans cannot do. So, for example, going into dangerous areas, where it might be very toxic environment, maybe in mines where there are gas, or as you said, oil and gas. But it could also be things like, you can almost think about the guard dog or the police dog or the dog that saves people out of fire. It's very similar, but you're having, instead of a real dog, you have a robot dog.
Yep. And so obviously this is a partnership. Where does your work end? Is it Boston Dynamics that trains the model, and are you just trusting them that the model operates without bias in these security situations?
Yeah, I mean, we're not developing artificial intelligence. We're essentially using the platform, I would say. Mm-hmm. But actually, I think what's happening is that you have this hardware configuration, but you essentially have like an operating system with software modules that can do various things. So you could imagine that you have something that has image recognition, and then based on what it sees, it could then maybe scare some intruders away or something like that.
Yeah. I think what I'm really getting at there is that we have had image recognition systems that don't always identify all skin colors the same way or accurately. What guarantee do you have that this isn't going to happen with a future version?
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, like any AI, you know, the software is only as good as it has been trained. And, you know, there will always be some sort of bias in the software. But that's kind of out of our scope for what we're doing. We're kind of trusting that the platform will have certain capabilities that are applicable for our use case.
And I'm thinking of, like, what are some of the future use cases? You know, it's quite a big robot maybe for a home, but I can imagine that people do want companions to assist them to keep living independently, for example. Is that one of the sort of things that you hope Astro develops into?
Yeah, I think, I mean, how many here loves dogs or cats? Hand up. Okay, so pretty much everyone. And I do think that companionship is one of those things. And I do think that, you know, a dog probably has the intellect of a 2-year-old. This could actually have a companion factor, but also help with, you know, maybe there's a medical emergency, there's other things that could be helpful as well that you could train it from. So I don't know if elder care is the core use cases here, but I think what I found is that if we talk to a doctor or a fireman or a, you know, Stanford scientist, each of them will come up with a use case, taking their experience and then looking at what technology can do. And in that marriage, we'll see new use cases, I think.
That is actually a very good idea, because we're going to make sure Astro is around for you to play with and meet one-on-one during the networking reception. So if you think of any use cases which you'd like Astro to,
please.
to like, go up and share those with Rikard. At the other end of the spectrum, you know, people have a habit of misusing or reapplying technology for things it wasn't designed for. Is there any way to make sure that Astro doesn't get used for nefarious reasons? Yeah,
I mean, I do think that technology has the power to enable good and bad, and it's kind of in the wielder of the technology to some extent. So I think that is always the case, and it's always been with the same case. And I think we've seen flying drones, for example, being used for positive things, you know, as well as negative things. So I know at least from Boston Dynamics that they don't engage in any military activities, so it's essentially only for good. So they're very clear about that.
And when Astro goes into these faraway places, you obviously can't bark a command at him. You have to use some other control system.
I do actually think that you could make Astro, you know, so for example, for law enforcement, when you go into a building, it can, you know, give instructions to people as well, in a very convincing way, I'm sure.
Yeah, but you instruct Astro in those situations through wireless communications?
Yeah, so it's completely wireless, so that you could, in this case, we have a hand control, but you could imagine that you have someone having a VR glasses, you know, commanding Astro from, you know, a faraway location on an oil rig or...
So the person wearing the headset is almost seeing what Astro is seeing.
Exactly. And it could inspect, you know, instrument or gauges or temperature or chemical balance in the air, you know, all of those things without necessarily being in danger of killing yourself.
Very good. Now, one little bit of theater that we came across during the break is we have some real live dogs who are with us today. And I thought it might be fun if one of them came up to meet Astro. Is Potato around, or Potato's owner? Could we... Oh, here we go. Come up and say hi, Potato.
No.
You can come and sniff his butt, Potato. Come over.
I think this looks a bit scary.
Yeah, there might not be a second date in this relationship.
All right.
I think.
So we'll make a furry, fussy Astro next time.
All Excellent. Right. Well, come and see Astro and Rikard in the networking reception, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much for having me.